In today's lecture, we will be studying various aspects of the cell. The topics we will cover are listed in front of you. First, I will explain what a cell is, meaning we will define the cell. Then, we will look into how the cell was discovered and learn about its discovery. Next, we will discuss the characteristics of the cell. After that, I will tell you about the types of cells and how many types exist. We will then examine the structure of the cell, covering the organelles present inside it and the functions of each organelle. Finally, we will discuss who discovered cell theory and what points it contains. Lastly, I will explain the functions of the cell. Let's begin the lecture with discovery of the cell. In 1665, a scientist named Robert Hooke, who was born in London, was working in his laboratory. He observed a piece of cork using a compound microscope. Cork is a type of wood, often used as a bottle stopper. When he observed the cork under the microscope, he noticed small compartments inside it. He called these compartments cella, which means small rooms. He later concluded that these cells were non-living because there was no movement within cells. A while later, another scientist, Antony van Leeuwenhoek. He also examined cork, but using a different microscope, which had a higher magnification power compared to Hooke's microscope. Because of the better magnification, Leeuwenhoek observed movement within these compartments. Such movement can only be seen in living things. This indicates that they were indeed living. This is how the discovery of living cells took place. Now, let's move on to the cell theory. Cell theory was proposed by three scientists, Schleiden, Schwann, and Rudolf Virchow. Each of them contributed to the formation of cell theory, which consists of three main points. Point number 1, all living organisms on Earth are made up of cells. This means every living thing, from plants and animals to fungi and bacteria, is composed of cells. Point number 2, the cell is the basic unit of life. In other words, the cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Point number 3, new cells arise from pre-existing cells. This means that new cells are formed when existing cells divide. Now, let's discuss the characteristics of a cell. A cell provides support on one side and on the other hand, it provides structure to the body. All living organisms, regardless of their type, are made up of cells, which means the cell plays a role in giving structure and support. Inside the cell is the nucleus. This nucleus contains hereditary information in the form of DNA. I have created a detailed lecture on DNA and RNA. You can watch my lecture by visiting my channel. The cell also provides energy. This energy is produced by an organelle called the mitochondria. Cells contain digestive enzymes, which are housed in an organelle called the lysosome. This lysosome helps digest unwanted material. The cell also creates various molecules with the help of a structure called the endoplasmic reticulum. Now, let's explore the functions of the cell. Function number 1, support and structure. The cell membrane provides external support, while the cytoskeleton provides internal structure. In plants, xylem and phloem tissues also provide support. Xylem helps transport water, while phloem transports food. Function number 2, transport of substances. Different substances enter and exit the cell through the cell membrane. Function number 3, energy production. The cell produces energy from glucose. This process takes place in an organelle called the mitochondria. This mitochondria converts glucose into ATP. Function number 4, reproduction. Cells help in reproduction. This reproduction occurs either through mitosis or meiosis, depending on the type of cell. I have prepared a detailed lecture explaining the differences between mitosis and meiosis. You can visit my channel to watch it. Function number 5, protein synthesis. Cells synthesize proteins with the help of ribosomes, which are another organelle within the cell. Function number 6, food storage. Cells store food in organelles called vacuoles. Now, we will study types of cells. There are two types of cells, prokaryotic cells, eukaryotic cells. In each of my lectures, I emphasize that medical study is based on terminology. If you understand the terminology, you can understand all of medical science. The term prokaryotic is made up of two parts. Pro means before or false, and karyon means nucleus. Thus, a prokaryotic cell is one with a primitive or false nucleus, meaning it lacks a proper membrane around the nucleus. Its genetic material, DNA, is scattered and not confined. On the other hand, eukaryotic is also made up of two words, eu, meaning true, and karyon, meaning nucleus. A eukaryotic cell has a true nucleus, meaning the nucleus is fully enclosed by a membrane. Now, I will explain differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. Differences number 1. Nucleus. Prokaryotic cells have a false nucleus without a membrane, while eukaryotic cells have a true nucleus enclosed by a membrane. Differences number 2. Organisms. Prokaryotic cells are found in unicellular organisms like bacteria, while eukaryotic cells are found in both unicellular and multicellular organisms like plants, fungi, protozoa, and animals. Differences number 3. Size. Prokaryotic cells range from 0.1 to 5.0 micrometers, while eukaryotic cells range from 10 to 100 micrometers. Differences number 4. Reproduction. Prokaryotic cells reproduce through asexual reproduction, such as binary fission. Eukaryotic cells can reproduce both asexually and sexually. Differences number 5. Genetic material. In prokaryotic cells, the hereditary material can be either DNA or RNA, while in eukaryotic cells, it is exclusively DNA found inside the nucleus. Today's question is, what are the two primary types of cells? If any of you know the answer, only a genius can answer in the comments. If you would like to watch my other lectures on topics such as the lungs, kidneys, liver, brain, or eyes, visit my channel to watch my other videos.